Ladies and gentlemen, Violet Games here. Today I needed to make a video to caution you away from Fallout 76. Guys, this game is absolute dog shit. It is bad. Stay away. And I need to preface this video by saying that I am a huge Fallout fan. I have a strong bias towards Fallout. I want to love Fallout more than anything. Like, to the extent I was like one of those fanboys that kind of covered up some of the glaring issues with Fallout 4 just because I wanted to love the game so bad. But later on, I kind of got over that and I was like, yeah, the game fucking sucks. But let's talk about Fallout 76 and why it's maybe one of the worst games I've played within like the past 10 years. Like, it's that fucking bad. It really is an absolute dumpster fire. The first egregious sin, this is number one, is that the enemy AI is just terrible. It is brain dead, it is not challenging, and it's not in the very least stimulating. So one thing the AI clearly has an issue with is pathing. They don't know how the fuck to use their environment to their advantage. They don't take cover. They kind of act stupid, and they just kind of stay out in the open and let you pummel them with bullets. And being that I recently played Dark Souls 3 and got to experience AI on a level that is very sophisticated and smart and will use tactics and combos, and each enemy behaves a bit differently depending on what they are, going from that to Fallout 76, and also to mention the variety of AI, like there's so many different behaviors and different enemies and nuance. Fallout 76 has none of that. Everything feels like you're almost fighting the same thing with a different weapon and skin. Like, super mutants fight the exact same way as the scorched people. They kind of just walk left to right, moving towards you, or kind of letting a piece of cover obstruct them from time to time, but not usually. They just act retarded. They act stupid and sluggish, and clearly they don't know how to prioritize targeting either. There's just so many problems with the AI, both in single and multiplayer instances, that I cannot forgive this game for that. Like, it is pathetic how bad the AI is, and the game presents no challenge as a result. The sheer amount of exploits that you can use to cheese the enemies in this game is ridiculous, and all of them have to deal with that poor pathing. If you like head glitch a rock or something just the right way, or if you really stand at a distance to like shoot at your enemies with a long range weapon, you can cheat this entire game. And a lot of the AI will not follow you outside of certain zones as well. So like, the AI is just an abortion, and it's the worst AI I've seen in years. Now, the most egregious sin, in all honesty, like as a gamer, has to be the core gameplay of this game. Like, if I had to describe it, it seems like they really just wanted to focus on the monotony and repetition of everything. Like, Fallout 76
is a curse. When life is endless, so is everything else. The monotony, the repetition, the monotony, the repetition, the monotony, the repetition, the monotony, the repetition.
So putting everything into layman's terms, Fallout 76 is just grindy in almost every way you slice it, and it's not a fun grind. It's not a fun gameplay loop. I mean, even from things like your weapons. Your weapons have to be repaired. Why? Because why not? And you also have to craft a bunch of different weapons. So there's like this huge emphasis on crafting, which I'll be honest is more monotonous and repetitive and isn't really satisfying. On top of that, you have to kill mobs of repetitive enemies that are nearly brain dead. So that's monotonous and repetitive. And then you have to replay repetitive missions that literally just keep spamming themselves out as you play the game in order to get certain loot. Like, doing dailies and stuff or events are actually really beneficial to your character, and if you don't do them, you can find yourself at a disadvantage at some points, which I don't like. I don't like being forced to do a mission I've already done. You only really want to do these missions once, but the fact that they're also put on a timer means you can't explore any of the interesting lore within those missions. So the repetitive missions just feel like shit, and to be honest, if they would have just removed those radiant repetitive missions from the game, you would be better off, because they're shit. These events aren't fun to go through. They aren't like satisfying at the end. The payoff is still pretty decent, but like the way to get there was just boring. There was nothing exciting about Fallout 76 repetitive side missions. And then finally, we have slow, boring progression. Now, the one thing about Fallout 76 is that they have an interesting perk system. They do. But the progression of that perk system is so slow, and the fact that you don't have a lot of player choice as to what cards you can get at any given time just pisses me off. It's clear the game wants you to repetitively level up, and that's the only thing that you're going to get out of this game is leveling up. I hate it. And it happens way too slowly, and you can't do it at your own pace doing what you want. If you want to level up fast, you always need to get into fights and always do repetitive missions and always do this monotonous, repetitive bullshit, and I'm not a fan of it. I think the core gameplay of Fallout 76 is trash. Oh, man. The monotony, the repetition. Another thing I have to bring up, guys, is that the multiplayer in this game will not fucking save you from its monotony and repetition. It just won't. There's nothing really compelling about the actual multiplayer experience, and let me explain why. So, if you're not lobbying up with a party of friends you know, the people you are going to run into in Fallout 76 never want to talk. Most of them who want to talk have terrible fucking microphones, or their microphones are registering way too high, and it's obnoxious on your ears. The things they say are going to take you out of the immersion of the game completely, which in my honest opinion is the only good thing about this game is the environmental storytelling and stuff and actually moving at a slower pace. You're actually incentivized to move at a faster pace when you have a party with you because you want to maintain that gameplay flow so that people don't get bored or sit idle or something like that. So the multiplayer literally adds nothing to this game. You can't really control how people act. So having players play in a way that would actually complement this game is literally impossible. And I don't know why Bethesda thought that adding multiplayer people in the game would actually replace NPCs. It is far less immersive as a result. So players replacing NPCs ultimately isn't a good thing. I would have rather them put emphasis on things like the actual story elements of the game and maybe have made this game a 4-player cooperative experience, because if they would have done that, it would be a better game. It would be. Instead, they try to make it a repetitive fucking MMO and a cash grab. That's honestly what they went for, and I hate to say that. And on top of all of those other negative points, this game has microtransactions. That's an obvious negative. I'm not really going to go into it, but the fact that you're charging me any extra dollars for this piece of shit is just offensive. Selling it for $60 is fucking offensive to me. This game should have been $30 at most because it feels like a fucking cheap add-on that they literally just slapped together to make money. I don't know what else to say about microtransactions but like vomit on my microphone. I feel like that would illustrate the point perfectly if I could just like record myself vomiting on my fucking microphone and then you guys listen to it with like 3D high definition surround audio and just listening to the emesis splatter against the fucking microphone as chunks and chunks of fucking protein slaps. You know, I'm getting way too gross about this. The point is, the amount of the money that is spent for Fallout 76 is just offensive to begin with. So microtransactions are like fucking, I don't know, fungus sprinkles on the shit sandwich. It's like making it even worse. Oh god. It really is the principle of the thing, to be completely honest. It really is the principle, because there are so many good games out right now. How can you keep spending money on microtransactions? Like, we can hardly afford all the good games that are releasing now. I don't want another game that is constantly trying to milk money out of me. It's the reason I completely glossed over Assassin's Creed for the past couple of years, because the microtransactions are so bad, and it's for a game that has no longevity. There's nothing special about Assassin's Creed, right? They come out every year, so why put microtransactions in them? You know what I'm saying? Just so many problems with microtransactions in general, but, you know, the gaming public just can't afford all of them. And you'll notice that games that don't do this bullshit often do very well in sales. I wonder why that is. You know what? I think it's a value proposition. I think it's because the value proposition is so good, you don't need to fucking nickel and dime the customer base that you have that has gambling problems, essentially. You're exploiting a very small group of people, and it's fucking gross. Okay, enough about microtransactions. There we go. I got it. I got it out. Guys, I need help. All right, so before I get out of here, I at least want to nod some positive notes about Fallout 76 before I leave, because I feel like it would be unfair to say everything about the game is complete shit. So, positive things about Fallout 76, I think the world building is far superior to Fallout 4. I just do. I think that that is probably the best thing about this game, and was definitely the biggest appeal that I had going into it. And it delivers. I like the notes. I like the holotapes. The voice acting is rock solid. It makes me wonder why they didn't put NPCs in, because the voice acting was so top-notch. They could have put in actually really interesting NPCs that just kind of hung around like in a Borderlands sense. Like, this game really has no excuse for taking out the NPCs, but you want to know why I really think they don't have NPCs? Because they rushed this game to market. I really do feel that way. I feel like there was a market for survival games, and Bethesda saw this, and they wanted to cash in. That's all this game really wound up being. Oh my gosh, I can't stop being negative about Fallout 76. But positives, the world building is just so good. It really is. It's the highlight of the game. The environments you explore are lush and beautiful, and I really love the attention to detail that is presented there. The handcrafted forests and shit. It is a beautiful plane. It is. But really, outside of that, the core gameplay is alright. It functions. It's not impossible to do. It feels, you know, kind of solid, but you hear my voice kind of dissipating because it's essentially the same gameplay as Fallout 4. You're not going to get anything really exciting or new out of it. So yeah, guys, all in all, the only positive I have about Fallout 76 is that the world building is good. That's it. That's all I have to say that's positive, and it's not enough. So guys, in conclusion, do not buy this piece of shit. I am a Fallout fan. I love the Fallout universe. I was open to the idea of playing a Fallout open world game that was multiplayer, that focused more on gameplay, building a character, and maybe making a base. I was open to the idea of that, but the way it's implemented is piss poor. The gameplay, even though it's repetitive, isn't even fun to begin with because of the brain dead AI, the stutters in the frame rate, the bugginess of this game. It just completely ruins the experience. And that's one negative I didn't even bring up, is how technically shit this game is. The frame rate will eat ass constantly. Constantly. Oh my god. Like, you can meet someone with an anal fixation, and literally this game will eat more ass than they will. Okay, I got really fucking R-rated near the end. Anyways, guys. Violent games, I'm literally losing my brain as I'm making this video. Fallout 76 is such a fucking disappointment. This is the worst game I've played in years. So, I just wanted to throw this video out there. Let me know if you disagree with me, because I know there's going to be people that disagree with me. But like I said, I threw them a bone. I really do think the world building was done really well here, but no one is ever going to experience it because of the game they made. The game they made detracts from all of that so much to a point where I can't fucking ignore it. And goddamn, I tried. I fucking tried. It's been, no. Guys, don't buy Fallout 76. Don't fucking buy it. It's a piece of shit.